So hey guys, today we are going to learn a bit about S3 bucket. We'll understand what is S3 bucket is all about. We will also use normal user credentials to create an S3 bucket from CLI. And the way we will do, let's assume like I don't know anything and I'm currently trying to learn in the age of AI. So how we can use AWS CLI with AI to know the command to create an S3 bucket. So let's say let's begin talking what is S3 bucket. So think S3 bucket is basically a storage container where you can store all your files or object it's like basically an online storage container. Think like a folder in your system but in the cloud. Remember, in S3 bucket, we can see the folders inside and there is a file, but actually, this is some kind of UI functionality they are doing some way. Interestingly, S3 bucket is key value pairs. Is basically they have some keys and there they are storing the file. Using some UI, they are able to map those things and showcase us the in the form of folder structure. If you want to explain an S3 bucket normally, consider as a storage container which manage data, files, and object. Think of it like a folder file system, something like that. So in case of that, you don't want your S3 bucket or basically your folders or file which can be accessed by anyone, correct? In case, let's say you have a private folder in your system, you don't want other people can view those folders. You try to hide those things, or you can password protect, or you can deny the access to that particular folder, and only the particular user can access that folder. In the same way, you can do the same thing in the S3 bucket. So you can basically control who can see, who can access your folder, and you can basically share your folder as well by providing the access. At the same time, you can specify which people can access those folders, or you can make your entire S3 bucket public. So uh, let's start creating one S3 bucket, and yeah, let's do it. So I have logged in into my admin account, and we can search S3 here, which will take you here, creating an S3 bucket. Now click on creating an S3 bucket. We can give a bucket name admin created S3 bucket. We can check if we want to have any kind of settings or those kind of things, but we will just focusing on extreme basic stuff. Object ownership is basically the access control list, who can access the cross account access, those kind of policy can be attached. If you notice this, this is interesting part, because previously I believe few years back there were lots of public S3 bucket leakage. That's the reason I believe this particular setting came into existence. This setting basically block access to all the newly created S3 bucket, or even if you create a new policy in certain way, those policy will not be overridden, and they block the S3 bucket to make them publicly accessible. So if you make this uncheck, your S3 bucket will be public accessible. Even the you can say the AWS give you warning like all the public access bucket might result become public and anyone can access those things. So let's make it basically block the S3 bucket. Versioning, you can have various version on your S3 bucket, but let's just talk about extreme basic. Let's create an S3 bucket. Bucket name should not contain uppercase. Okay, my bad habit of camel casing due to coding. Create a bucket. So we have successfully created a bucket. If you notice, uh, admin created bucket. Now we can upload anything. So let us create a simple of txt new admin bucket upload. This simple txt. Go here, click on upload, uh, add a folder. Oh, is there is a way I can directly upload? You must add a filter, add folder, so add file. Let's click on desktop, admin upload, frequent general purpose, cool, everything is upload. And we have successfully able to upload a txt into our admin bucket. So let's do the same activity using the AWS CLI as well, and using the normal account. If you remember, we have given the policy. We have actually attached the policy to the normal user account, which has complete S3 bucket access. So first, let us create the access credential for the normal user. So how we can do that? Let's say as usual, I don't know. I'll open Brave. Let's open incognito Copilot. So this is the way you can actually try to learn or self-study. Best ways to learn something is by doing self-study. Uh, so we can say create access key for other user using AWS CLI. So this will give me the command which I need to use. So I can use my uh, admin account which I have configured. So we just need to copy this part. So let's say copy paste, username is normal user, and so we have the access key for the normal user. So let's just create a new profile for it. So we can use AWS configure hyphen profile normal user key. Let me copy this, the secret key. Okay. Hmm. So we have the normal user key, so we can actually run the same command hyphen profile normal user, and it is not configure. Why? Username. Oh yeah, now profile is user key. Hmm? So yeah, our key has been created. Now let's say uh, for normal user, I want to, because I have access to entire S3 bucket policy, basically full access. I want to list all the S3 buckets. So how can I do that? Basically, you can just ask again the AI AWS CLI command to list all S3 buckets. Copy, cancel, copy, paste, and the profile. So you can see the S3 bucket policy has been created, S3 bucket name, and the owner is basically my account. So S3 created this one. So this is the one. So now let's say again we don't know how we can go into the how I can go into this particular bucket, correct? How to access file from a particular S3 bucket. AWS S3 ls S3, the bucket name, and the profile. So this will basically list what is inside this S3 bucket, correct? And it has already provided us the way, so we can copy the file from an S3 bucket. So AWS S3 copy S3 colon this one slash the file name. Let's copy to desktop 2, and let me delete this file then. Okay, I have deleted the file. So copy into C user focus desktop. Cool. And let's check if this works or not. Download S3, and you can see we were able to get the file from a particular S3 bucket. Now let's say I want to create a new S3 bucket using our account. So how to create a S3 bucket using CLI? We can use this S3 create bucket hyphen bucket create normal user S3 bucket. I'm not sure if we need to write the region. By default it will take the default region. Bucket, when calling the operation, specify bucket is not valid. Create bucket, my new buckets. It is important to specify if you omit the bucket will create in a default region. I want into default region, but an invalid bucket name. Oh yes, it is invalid because I have used this one. And hyphen profile. I want to use normal user key. Okay. The bucket has been successfully created. Now let us list the bucket. Correct. List bucket command, and we can see normal user S3 bucket. So let's say I want to. What is the permission? So if I want to check the permission, what policy attached to a bucket? Can we do that from AWS CLI? AWS S3 bucket list all policy permission ACL. So we can check if any kind of policy. Just let me copy these. Oh, copy, paste the bucket name itself. Hyphen profile. Normal. The bucket policy does not exist. It does not have the policy itself. So do we have the ACL? Permission, we have full control, but I want to check if it is publicly accessible or not. I'm not sure. A list permission of cat bucket list object. Check if bucket is public accessible or not. Replace the insert policy to see if it is there. Check the ACL at public access block, or we can use this one to check. Bucket name. Where is the bucket name, bro? Let me copy everything. Invalid choice. Maybe you meant get bucket access block. Invalid choice. Get public access block. Oh, so they have this one. True. So it is by default block public accessible through ignore public. Yeah. So the bucket created by default are blocked from public accessing. So yeah, now let us see how we can upload a file in S3 bucket using CLI. Upload a file in S3 using AWS CLI. Oh, it's as simple as that. So we can create a new file, normal user S3 file. Enter. Cool. So we can just say copy. So we have we already, so it's already in desktop slash normal user text, correct? And the bucket name, so our bucket name is normal user bucket, and the profile we are going to see. Upload, we have successfully uploaded the file. Now let us check if the file has been uploaded or not. List bucket, create a bucket, upload ls, this one. So the bucket name is, yes, yes, normal user created bucket. We are not able to list things. Why? Because of this. Nope. How the heck we can list? It should say normal user S3 bucket. File name, what was the file name? No, yeah, no, this is normal user S3 file, not the bucket list. My mistake. We have triple slash, I believe, because of that it did not work. Yes. So normal user file. So this way, we can use AWS CLI to create a new access key for a user using admin account. We understand a bit. I'm just saying bit about the S3 bucket. More usage of AWS CLI specific to S3 bucket. And the task was this as well, create S3 bucket from this. This is just about the S3 bucket. If you think why I'm going a bit fast, I'm just teaching the basic. Currently we are just still trying to get ourselves comfortable with AWS web console as well as CLI. Once we take 2 or 3 surveys, understand those things, later on we will go a deeper understanding. So basically, what is the difference between a directly attached policy versus inline policy, or basically how you can abuse specific policy by creating our own lab and slowly going into deeper. Now for the timing, just try to get a feel what is S3, create an S3 bucket, understand it, get comfortable more with AWS CLI, and slowly you will get a good feeling like I'm understanding how I can use AWS CLI. I can understand how I can use multiple profile. So if you notice, we by default have an admin access key and a normal key. So a way to create an